What's up, guys? We got the new lighting and new camera. Looks pretty good, I think. I'm still trying to tweak it and figure out what exactly the best settings are for it, but I'm very pleased with it so far. All right. On to travel ball coaching. High school season ended yesterday in the quarterfinals. Same. We got knocked out of the Final Four. Was it yesterday? No, 2 days ago, Tuesday. My Hurricanes Canes, what's up, man? My Hurricanes have taken 2 body shots on the recruiting trail the last 2 days. I'm hurting. That's all right. That's gonna happen, man. It's gonna happen. Top 10 overall player in 2027 decommitted from us this week. Super random. And then the kid I sent you yesterday committed to FSU over the U. New lighting, new camera. Let's go. Setup looks good. Thank you. Yeah, I think it may be a little bright with the light. Wow, this must be South Beach Club settings. Wear the silk shirt, man. Yeah, I know. You're right. You're right. Just trying to upgrade, man. We're trying to grow this thing, so we're trying to upgrade. But I do have some interesting. Well, I mean, we're going to go over the series that are coming up because those are massive. We are scheduling, just so you guys know right now, we have about 4 coaching interviews scheduled so far. Basically, once like the regular season for most guys is done, we're going to try to have as many of those as possible from all levels, from like mid-major, up in the Northeast or down in the Southeast or West Coast or, Power 4. So we're going to have a lot of those set up. And once those are kind of locked down and finalized, we're going to, we'll send out what that schedule looks like. So you guys know exactly what to expect from that. Lighting is exactly the same. No, it's not. No, it's not. No, it's not. It is the camera is way better, and the lighting is also way better. But I'm still trying. I think it's a little bright. I need to make it less bright, I think. And I keep hitting the camera thing. Tournament setup. Interesting D1 baseball stream earlier with the committee chair said KPI is going to be brought in next year. Okay. Interesting. How can we set up an interview with you and one of our staffers? Do I put you in contact with our SID? I'm going to reach out to Dominguez. I mean, that's the guy that I know the best. So we'll have him on probably. It's literally not improved. Dusty, you're a moron. I put Walter Beed in contact with our SID. Okay. Let's get into it, Kyle. We're going to get into it. Let me just turn this light down a little bit. All right, let me just see let's see. We're going to test it. You guys are on stream here. We're trying to adjust. Maybe that's enough. Maybe that's enough. We'll see. There we go. I think that's fine. All right, let's get into it like Dusty says, guys. Let's get into it. Let's look at this D1 baseball live scores. Actually, let's see what articles we have being posted by them right now. Dusty, he has the Georgia Tech blue as his lighting. Can't you tell? Judge and Ohtani are on fire this year. Who's the better player? I think they're both really good players. I think if Ohtani's pitching, I think he's way too much value, right? I think you got to go with Ohtani just based on like if he's actually pitching and as effective as he was like pre-injury, like there's no one that's more valuable to a team because he's like an ace, like maybe not like a true top ace, but like right behind that. So I think I have to go with Ohtani if he's pitching. But besides that, I mean, Judge has been like the best player in baseball so far this year. Am I watching tonight? Yes, Dusty. I am watching tonight. Of course. Of course. All right. Now let's see what the best games are tonight. I'll take the top 3 in the Mets lineup over both of them. I don't know about that, Buck. I don't know about that. All right. The craziest storyline so far in college baseball is just the fact that Georgia Tech is not ranked, although they are, second or third in the ACC. It's pretty incredible. Wish these ads would just go away. Like the new background. Thanks, Barks. Yeah, I got a new camera, a little new lighting. Still trying to figure out the best settings for it, but it's just such a massive weekend this weekend. Yes, I mean, there are so many games this weekend that like difference between a team hosting or not hosting. I mean, like Clemson's got Pitt. They take care of business. They're going to be a host. Georgia Tech has Duke, who's been playing really well, who just beat Clemson. And again, if Georgia Tech wins that series, they'll be 19-11. I think they're definitely a host. The question becomes, like, again, the thing that's weird is that Georgia Tech, with one win, finishes at 18-12. And last year alone, there were 3 12-loss or 18-win teams that were hosts from the ACC. Right now, the ACC is only projected to get, like, everywhere I'm seeing, the ACC is projected to get 3 hosts, which is insane. That would be the lowest in a long time for the ACC, which makes no sense. So that's something to watch. Don't make me get out my Excel document. Yeah, I know you will. After hearing the committee guy, they weigh heavily not only conference schedule, but who you actually played in conference, and that's going to hurt GT. Yes, that will. It will definitely hurt Georgia Tech, but you've played Virginia, who's surging. You've played Duke, you're playing Duke now, who's in the top 20. You played Miami. I think Georgia Tech's schedule, albeit definitely it's not as difficult as it could be, but I think at the beginning of the season you looked at it and you're like, oh man, that's an easy schedule. And you look at it now, it's a more difficult schedule than you think. Like obviously you played Miami, who everyone thought was going to be not that good, and Miami has been a lot better. But it'll be interesting to see. Again, I think in the ACC, like if you're 19-11, it doesn't matter. Like that's my opinion. Like the thing is this, Buck, and I'll say it like this. The thing that I cannot believe is, I get it, Florida is playing really well right now, but I've seen people project Florida as a host, and they're 14, like they have a losing record in conference right now. Like that's the thing that I can't figure out. They are 13-14. They play Alabama this weekend, and I can't figure out how can Florida be a projected host. They have a losing record in conference. But then Georgia Tech would be 19-11 in the ACC. So what you're saying is that the SEC is so far ahead of the ACC. Like that's what that says. Like there's just no way that Georgia Tech, if they win the series, can go. But even then, even if they lose the series, they're 18-12. And let's say Florida wins the series and they get to 15-15 in conference. Like you're basically saying that SEC is just way better than the ACC. Now, maybe people can make that argument. I don't agree with that, but that's what you're saying, and that's what the committee's saying. Georgia Tech, in their recent bracketology live stream on YouTube from D1, said that Georgia Tech is back in the hosting combo, but then they put in their opinion that shouldn't matter. There are 6 teams who can be the 1 seed in the ACC tournament going into the last week, and that doesn't help the ACC's cause for hosts. I mean, isn't that kind of like I think. I mean, I don't. I mean, what? There's 6 teams that have really played well. Is kind of what you're saying. I mean, I guess you don't have a 22-8 type team in the ACC, but you don't really have that anywhere. I mean, even Texas looked like they were going to be that caliber of team, but Texas can finish at 22-8. They're the one team. LSU can finish at 20-10, which is what Georgia Tech can finish at. The D1 ACC guy picked Duke to go deepest in the tournament out of the ACC team. You mean NCAA tournament? Is that what you mean? Is that what you mean? Dusty says, if GT takes 2 of 3 against Duke, it's clinched. Duke is now apparently a top 20 team. Yeah, Duke somehow, again, Duke is 16-11. They're a top 20 team. It's crazy. They said, all of us think Georgia Tech isn't a very good team. In my mind, when he said that, I was, what does your opinion have to do with how good they've been all year long? That's the thing is that's so weird because if anything, that's such a it's kind of an elementary statement. If anything, you say maybe, all right, maybe you don't think their offense is as good. And it certainly has not been as good as it was the first half of the year. It's definitely playing better now, but it has not been as good. Maybe you think, the pitching's kind of been smoke and mirrors because there's, 5 guys have pretty much all the innings. But the Georgia Tech is the only team to be top 3 in batting average and ERA in the ACC, and they're second in both categories, which has to count for something. But it's still kind of weird. The D1 ACC guy picked Duke to go deepest, and I don't even understand that. That makes no sense. How Duke could go the deepest. I mean, they're playing well, but explain Florida State over that or UNC over that. I don't understand how you could pick Duke over those two. That seems like I'm just trying to create conversation on social media. Glass half full, glass half empty. Kyle, if Tech doesn't win this series, can they do anything in the ACC tournament to host or do or die? I think they can. I think they probably have to. I don't know. I mean, again, I just don't know. I think it's crazy to me that 18-12 is not like a for sure host. That's always been a host in the ACC up until this year. I guess somehow the ACC this year just got way worse. I don't know. But I think if they do lose the series, as long as they don't get swept, if they go deep in the tournament or they win, I think there's definitely a chance there. Bryce, I'm not showing the small whiteboard. That's a different type thing. Word for word from Kendall Rogers, we all think they aren't a good team. They have one of the best offenses in the country. I don't know how you can say that. I'll give you 3 teams to win the Natty, or you can take the rest of the field. LSU, FSU, or Texas. I think you take the field there, man, just to be honest. And this is why. I think all 3 of those teams, I think obviously Texas is probably the least talented of those 3 teams and has played the best, which again, so they're not as good they're not as talented as their record shows. Again, they're very highly coached. They're not the elite team that's just going to dominate all the way. All right, Bryce is getting a timeout. Sweet streaming setup, dog. Thanks, Cole. But Texas is the least talented of those 3. So which just means they can get upset. FSU and LSU both have good pitching. They don't have they're not across the board. I just don't see a team right now that's super elite. I think every team is obviously there are the elite teams in the nation, but there's not those 1 or 2 teams this year that just are going to look like they're going to dominate. I mean, there's just not one. And that's why I would take the field, because I just don't think any of them are that crazy. GT is 6th in KPI, or 16th in KPI. Okay, I'll take the rest of the field. What is Canes asked? What is KPI? Buck says a better RPI. What does that mean, Buck? RPI has major issues. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about it. I mean, RPI. The issue with RPI, I mean, sometimes there's really no rhyme or reason to why a team, you'll see some random teams, when you look at their schedule, you look at their wins, you look at their record, it doesn't make sense why their RPI is so high. Like for example, Oregon State. I don't understand how Oregon State has a high RPI. I really don't. Other than the fact that they've beat up on a bunch of like Q4 and Q3 teams, which is fine, but I just don't get that. Oh my gosh, you guys, my players, you know what I mean? Like they're really just showing out. Zach, I'll take the field. It's way too open a year. Yeah, it's an open year for sure, Buck. I agree. I just don't think there's not that one or two like really dominant teams. 100% after Buck, but what does KPI mean? Oh, you agree with Buck, but what does KPI mean? Okay, he just wants to know what KPI I think stands for. So, obviously A&M plays Georgia this weekend. I think they're basically out unless they win the SEC championship. I mean, maybe if they sweep Georgia, does that make sense? I don't know. Oregon State played 60% of games on road neutral site. I don't care though. Like I don't. That doesn't bother me. I don't think that's that big of a deal. Kyle, why have bowel movements under the chat? Because high school guys have entered the chat. My thing with this, Wally, is I don't care if you're playing on the road, if you're playing against like not good competition. Like that has nothing. It matters in the SEC and the ACC when you're playing like at Clemson or Florida State or LSU or A&M or wherever, because that's a big advantage. When you're going to like a school that is not nearly as talented as you and doesn't get any fans in the stands and you're playing on the road, it doesn't matter. And neutral sites, I could carry even less because that's a disadvantage for both teams typically because it's just somewhere they're not used to playing. You don't care, but that is how RPI is weighed. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense why RPI is probably boosted and why RPI is not a good measure of, again, shouldn't be the number one measure of why a team gets into the tournament or not. Couch potato interval. LSU would be my pick right now. I mean, that's a fine pick. I'm just saying I don't think there's not one team that you're like that team is like is just unbelievably talented. That's what happens when you give high school kids iPads. Yeah. Damn private school kids like myself. Yeah. Yep. But again, I mean, a huge series this weekend is Florida State, North Carolina. That's number 2, number 4 in the country going at each other. That's a big weekend. Again, Florida, Alabama is a massive series. Troy, Southern Miss. Troy has to sweep Southern Miss to tie them in conference. RPI is too much weight. That is why the DSR is going to be considered in future years. Yeah, I just think like let's have like 5 or 6 metrics and just weigh it all equally. Diamond Sports Rating. Kentucky, Vanderbilt's a big one. Oregon, Iowa, that's a big one. Auburn, Ole Miss. Ole Miss is scuffling lately, down to 14 and 13. Oklahoma, Texas. Tennessee, Arkansas. I mean, when we're talking about the again, it's like Oregon State's number 7 in the country, and I'm just like they got a big series against Long Beach this weekend, who's 22 and 28. But they're a top 10 team in the country. All right, so Tennessee right now, even though they're already at 40 and 13, they have lost 4 straight, I believe, SEC series, and they have lost 5 of their last 6. Basically, everybody agrees that I've read that if Tennessee does not win this series against Arkansas in Fayetteville, they're not going to be a host. That they'll end at 16 and 14, which is like actually solid in the SEC. So that again, explain to me how if Tennessee loses and they're 16 and 14, they can't be a host, but Florida can win the series and be 15 and 15 and be a host. And you'd be like, well, their RPI is really high. It's like, well, they play in the SEC. Their RPI is going to be high. And that's my problem with RPI in general, is that some of it, it doesn't make sense. It's like, well, if we just go, if we just play in the SEC and we go like 13 and or 12 and 18, like we're in the tournament. I don't like that. There is a link on D1 site. 643 came up with it. I think I followed them on Twitter, Wally. I found it interesting when they said the committee can only afford to fly so many schools. That's why some regionals get so lopsided. Yep. D1 had a call with committee chair today, and he alluded that more ratings will be considered moving forward. But why can't they just be considered now? Like, I don't understand. Everyone's known RPI has been a not great metric for a decade or more. Everyone's known that. Why do we have to just wait? Why can't we just get it? Why can't we just consider other things now? Yeah, that caught my ear as well. Nobody will want Tennessee in their regional. 100%. I mean, talk about a 2 seed that you do not want in your regional. That would be terrible. We want Tennessee, Zach. Yeah, no, you don't, Canes. TP, Thomas Pressman, Coach Willie, what's up? What's up, TP? Just don't be saying stuff like Bryce and Cole in the chat, all right? That's all I ask. That's all I ask. All right, let's see. Again, so for like the series where you're talking potential host, I mean, West Virginia, Kansas. I'm back, baby. Oh, Lord. Bryce is back. West Virginia, guys, I mean, what do they have to do to be a host? I mean, do they need to sweep Kansas and get to 22-6? Or is 21-7, or not 21-7? 21-7. Is that good enough? Georgia A&M. I mean, Texas. What does Texas have to do to get into the regionals? Or Texas A&M, I should say. They pretty much have to win the SEC tournament at this point. We don't have a choice anymore, Kyle. We blew our hosting chances, so now we are at the committee's hands. You haven't blown them yet, Canes. I think you got to win the series this weekend, and then if you win the ACC championship, maybe you're a host. Please unban me. I'll be a good... All right, here we go. You're back in timeout, Bryce. I would love to travel to Tennessee or one of these big schools. Yeah, Knoxville's cool, man. I did some of the radio broadcasts for the regional up there a few years ago. Bring him food, Bryce? Yeah, for real. Yeah. NC State, like this is the crazy thing for the ACC. There should be, as of right now, in my mind, there should be. I'll even say 4 hosts. I think if Clemson, depends on how NC State, Georgia Tech, and Clemson finish this weekend. Florida State, North Carolina are going to be hosts. Now, of Clemson, NC State, and Georgia Tech, if all 3 win, I think all 3 deserve to be hosts. But it also depends on how they win, right? Does somebody sweep? Does somebody have win 2 out of 3? I just do not get for the life of me why the ACC is so underrated this year. Like, it does not make any sense to me that, again, I mean, in the ACC right now, Clemson is not a host. I think let's just say it like this. If Clemson gets to 18-12, I think they'll probably be a host. Like Clemson has that just the brand of like they're going to get boosted because of that. No flavor right now, Bryce. I literally have to just like I have to put Bryce in timeout every time he joins. Unfortunate. NC State is going to win the ACC regular season championship if they sweep Stanford. Yeah. Well, I mean, they'll have the high. Well, yeah, they could. They could. And that's the whole point. The thing that's so weird is Georgia Tech is second right now in the ACC standings. They're not a projected host. UNC is 4th in the standings. They're a projected host. NC State is washed. Yeah, no, they're not. NC State is tied for 2nd in the ACC right now, Cole. NC State doesn't deserve to host. I think they do. I think they do. I mean, I think if they win this series, again, if they get to 18 and they'll be 18 and 10 because they've missed a couple games. But I think they should be a host. I think if you get to 18 wins in the ACC, it's like it's almost like an automatic host. And again, if you look at things like Buck brought up in KPI, Georgia Tech's way higher ranked in KPI than they are in RPI. In RPI, they're 22nd right now. Because RPI is just not a great metric. They manipulated their way into first overall. They would have gotten smoked by the Canes and UNC on that last day. They should be 18 and 12. I mean, that's fair to say too. I mean, that is fair to say. Bryce wants to donate. He can go ahead and do that, Cole. If he wants to do that, maybe he'll get unbanned. Knapp versus Arnold tonight may decide ACC Pitcher of the Year. 100%. That's going to be a duel of the Titans right there. Probably the two best pitchers in the ACC for sure. That's going to be a big one. I mean, again, it's an exciting weekend just because there's so many consequential series going on that will determine like if guys are hosts, if guys aren't hosts. There's some people that are a host right now, but if they lose, they're not going to be a host. I mean, there's just a bunch. There's a lot of like weekend series that are really important coming up or starting tonight. I think Kyle would prefer Bryce to continue to improve on his craft and then join ESA, and then he can get unbanned. Now, well, Bryce is one of our clients. He has to use ESA to get unbanned. No, he's one of them, baby. It's like this weekend, Northeastern RPI will drop even if they sweep North Carolina A&T. Yeah. I mean, I don't RPI punish you for beating bad teams at home. Yeah, and I just don't listen. I get it. Like, I don't want teams to schedule, like, really bad teams to boost things. But the fact that, like, a win punishes you is, that just, again, like, we have to figure out a better thing. Because that just doesn't make sense to me that a win will punish you like that. All right, let's see. I'm going to look at the pitching for UNC here. So, Jake Knapp is 10-0 with a 2.03 ERA, 71 innings pitched, 50 hits given up, 13 walks, below 1 whip, 67 strikeouts. So he's not like a massive strikeout number guy, but does not allow runners on base. DeCaro, I mean, here's the deal, man. UNC figured it out with the starting rotation because at the beginning of the year, DeCaro did not look good, was giving up a lot of contact. But he's figured out. Aiden Ha, I don't know how you say his last name, but he's had a great year as well. And just as a whole, and even Folger Boaz has been great for them with 4 starts on the year, but 19 appearances to a 3.9 ERA out of the bullpen. Their team is pitching to a 3.45 ERA. I can't believe. Danny, what's up, man? But it's not your fault if you're playing a bad conference team. Yeah, exactly. Committee chair said they do use strength of schedule heavily, encouraging mid-majors to play Power 4 and for Power 4 not to schedule cupcakes. Yep. He should be 9-1, but the Canes were 1 week away from turning their season around. ACC tourney changes could play a huge factor in who hosts. That double bye is huge. What are your thoughts on the new setup? I love the new setup, Danny. The problem with the last setup was, and again, the only, and we'll talk about it, but with the old setup, it was so stupid because I mean every like pool of 3 teams had at least one meaningless game in them. So the 1 seed would watch the other 2 seeds in their pool play each other, and then whoever won that game, the 1 seed knew they only had to beat that team. So when they play the team that lost, they just don't have to pitch anybody. They can give the catcher a rest day. They don't like. It's dumb. The previous setup was so bad, not fun to watch. Like there was like 4 or 5 meaningless games in every tournament. This one's way better. I don't necessarily like every team making the tournament. I do not like, and I don't care if they have the hardest route. I do not like that the team that finishes last in the conference has a chance of winning the ACC championship. I don't like that. I get it. They want as many games as possible for TV ratings and all that stuff. I just do not agree with, again, I remember when we won it in 2012, we were like the lowest seed ever to win it. I think we were like the 8th seed, and maybe there was 10 teams in it or 8 teams. I can't even remember. But now you're getting 16 teams in the tournament. I don't like that you can finish really bad in conference and still win a championship. That doesn't make any sense to me. But the overall new setup is so much better. It's so much better. Every game is meaningful. Every game, you're going to be at the edge of your seat, right? There's no boring, non-meaningful game. So it's way better, in my opinion. We turned our season around after that UNC series loss that we should have swept those chumps. Should have swept those chumps. All right, let's see here. Let's see what you guys are saying now. Every game could have went either way. ACC and SC have the same exact tournament setup this year. I agree with that. If you finish 15 or 16 in a 30-game schedule, you probably shouldn't be in the ACC tournament. Yeah, I mean, it's just my point is that, like, it's really dumb, and I never understood this at all. I just don't understand the tournament. I don't understand the tournament format at all. I feel like if you win the ACC, it should be because you had the best regular season schedule or the best regular season record. Now, it's different if not everybody gets to play the same teams, right? If you're not playing a uniform schedule like everybody else, then that means other people's records are going to be more highly weighted or less weighted based on who they've played. That makes a lot of sense. I understand that. So, generally speaking, I think it should be like maybe 8 teams make the tournament. Maybe the top 8 teams get to make it. But 16... Again, the setup is way better. I'm going to be watching every game. I think it's way more interesting. But I don't like that every team has a chance to win a tournament or win a championship. Making Cal fly cross country to play one game seems dumb. Yeah, we really should have swept them. That's why everyone was on JD's neck. And Zach, what makes you think Mike New won't have them ready to play? I watched Northeastern versus UConn on Tuesday. Was really impressed. Northeastern is really good. They always have really good arms. Zach, the people at the BC game told me Northeastern was the best team in that whole region. Yeah, Northeastern's legit, man. Northeastern's been legit for a while now. The BC fans also go to the Northeastern games. The BC fans also go to Northeastern games. Yep, they by far the best team in the Northeast. Interesting to see how 4 games in one day works with weather. The 4th game may be starting at midnight. Yep. Northeastern is good. They recruit kids out of my travel program. Northeastern's really good, man. They develop arms very, very well. Which 4th game? Mater Academy is playing right now, Zach, against a team by you, I think. All right, let's go back to some D1 baseball here. Fort Myers isn't close to me. Isn't Zach up in the Panhandle? Fort Myers is the exact opposite of that. Lincoln also got upset, Chase Fuller's team. All right, can we find the... You know what kind of aggravates me a little bit about D1 baseball? Like it used to be, you paid a subscription and you could see everything. And now there's like an SEC subscription, an ACC subscription. Like there's all these different like add-ons. Like it's ridiculous to me. All right, let's look at their latest Field of 64 projections. Actually, you know what? I mean, you guys already watched the video, so we don't need to watch that. Got to keep Rooney in beers. Bryant beat Northeastern this season. Nice. Bryant's having a great year. They're playing a team from the Panhandle. Mater Academy is playing Fort Myers. Northeastern, really good program for sure. Yeah, and they came down to play Georgia Tech. I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago. And I did a few of the games broadcast, and I remember thinking, like, these guys have legit arms, like really good arms. Who would be your pick right now to win the Natty? Can't pick Georgia Tech. Who would be my pick to win the Natty? Let's go over here. I think, let's look. I think right now, my pick would be North Carolina. And the reason is I think Florida State matches up really well with North Carolina. We'll find that out, this weekend. But I think North Carolina overall just has really, really good pitching, and their offense has really picked it up. If you guys remember, UNC at the beginning of the year was supposed to be a very highly ranked team. They did not start out great. They didn't start out terrible, but they didn't start out great. And a lot of that was the offense was just anemic. They couldn't score runs. That put a lot of pressure on the pitching. And it seems like a lot of that is evened out now. As a team, they're back up to 285. They're still not hitting they don't get a lot of extra base hits. They got 63 home runs, 12 triples, 77 doubles. They're slugging 464, which is fine. They're back up around that 850 OPS mark. They've scored 365 runs in 48 games. Again, it's not like a crazy number. It's 7.5 runs per game, right at that. But pitching wise, when you're throwing up a low 3 ERA as a team, and your WHIP as a team is 1.21, you're going to be tough to beat in a series. So I think UNC, if they're a host, if they can get out of the regional, I think they make it to the World Series. But yeah, so I'm going to go with UNC. Let's see. Uncle Mug should have the audio broadcast of that game on YouTube. Maryland is winning the Natty. They will make a Cinderella run through the tournament. Carolina getting production from Vanderbrake was huge for them. Yep. Kyle, if you saw Northeastern last year, Mike Sirota was their center fielder and top hitter. Struggled a bit in junior year versus freshman, sophomore. Third round pick from our travel organization and knew him a bit. Nephew of Whitey Ford. Yeah, I remember him. It was last year. Because I remember talking pregame to both coaching staffs and them talking about how I know at the beginning of the year he was it was thought that he was going to go in the first round, and then he did get off to kind of a slow start. I remember not really liking his swing. I remember thinking, and that doesn't mean you can't have success with a swing that I deem to not look great. Right. But I usually have a pretty good eye for those things. And I just remember thinking I don't like how the swing moves. And he ended up not having as great a year, like you said, but hopefully he has a great career in professional baseball. Kyle, you've done a great job with this channel all year. What can we do to help you get national? I don't know, man. I don't know. What do we have to do? I will say, if you guys know Jeff Fry, She Gone, he did. If you go to I'll show you. I'll pull it up on stream. But it's funny because he, we've commented on some of the stuff he said and everything. And he switched his pin. He posted this on his X account, and it was pinned for a while. It was pinned all night last night. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw this, but look, this is what Jeff Fry posted me. I like this guy. Kyle Wren nails it. Attitude is everything, and a bad attitude will prevent you from being successful in sports and in life. Here's the link to the entire video. And it's just like a 3-minute clip from my video that I guess he really liked. But he had that pinned on his channel, on his X account for like 12 hours or something, I guess. Prolific Prep. We have to get him a show on ESPN, Cap. I was told by this by one of my brother's business partners. It's officially official. Prolific Prep has completely moved their school and operations from Napa, California to Southwest Ranches, Florida. And if you want even more details, 1 minute from my brother's house. They're playing in a community in Southwest Ranches, 3.2-acre land. Or planning. I'm helping Kyle and the Canes baseball as much as I can. They're only basketball, Zach. I sent that info to Peter 2 months ago from CIS. He was stunned. How much will that help Coach Jai? Srota, his trainer, is a good friend. He was under the radar as he was a late grower. He went to WWBA with a no-name travel team and hit a bomb off a top pitcher in front of scouts Dodgers drafted. Nice. Do you have an IG? That could get you some more viewers. Yeah, it's my Instagram. We Elite Sports Advising, right, is our Instagram profile. We have like 8,300 followers on there. And then I have obviously my own personal profile, which is just Kyle Wren. You should be able to find me. KWren GT on there. We need to grow this on YouTube. Don't need ESPN politics. Yeah, that's right. But our Instagram account has like 8,300 followers. So we're growing. I mean, we're growing on all platforms. It's just, again, it's usually what I've learned in doing this now for like a year and a half, 2 years is generally what happens is you see like steady growth, but like it's nothing crazy. And then you like one video or something takes off and it goes boom. And then you see massive growth. And then it kind of flatlines again, steady, steady, steady. And then it flat, and then it grows. That's what I've seen. Like that's happened 3 or 4 times. I just sent you who Prolific Prep is. Will be interesting to see if they go into football or baseball. If they go into baseball, all the private schools down here better be on notice. Prolific Prep. Is this like a okay, so this is like is this kind of like an IMG type thing? But will I help Kyle in 5 months? That depends on the recruits he is advising that I follow and Jonathan follows, and if they come to Miami or Georgia Tech. Hey, I get it. They're a top 5 basketball program in the nation for the past 10 years. Do they not have a baseball program? Kind of like an IMG, but nowhere on the level. I would call it a poor man's IMG. Okay. Yeah, I was wondering what because I like, and it makes sense because they're a basketball school. Like I don't follow high school basketball at all, so I was like, I'd never heard of them. I didn't know what you were talking about. Have you been to IMG? It's an incredible campus. The last time I went was my sophomore year in high school, and my high school played them and lost 78-0. Yeah, I've been there. It's been a while though. I haven't been down there in a long time. Let's see. Actually, let's go through now and see which are. Do we have any games starting like right now? I can only imagine the upgrade in the past 10 years also cost yeah, 100 grand. Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty insane the cost. I mean, it's a lot of money. All right, so we have Northeastern's playing in 9 minutes. So they'll be playing 9 minutes. Everything else is like 6 p.m. start time or later. We probably will be doing a stream tonight, guys. Talking through some of these games. Tennessee, Arkansas start at 8, so that'll be a great one that we should be able to get. We should be able to see a decent amount of that game. Maybe able to catch Auburn, Ole Miss, Texas, Oklahoma, and then obviously as we get deeper into the weekend, we'll probably have even more games later. South Walton is loaded though, Zach. In baseball, South Walton beat them this year. I know a few kids going to IMG. They sell the dream for $60K a year and have like 9 baseball teams, so none of them are going to see even the top 3. Yeah. Only some pay the IMG sticker price. That's why there's 3 to 4 teams in every sport. Yep. For sure. And they threw Parker Grants against them, our former commit, who is now an Auburn commit. Did you see Justin Henry Malloy walk off yesterday? Yeah, I did. I saw it on Instagram this morning. I saw he tweeted something about it, or on Instagram he made a post about it, and I yeah, man, it's been fun to see him, dude. I mean, again, there's no surprise. It's just with some of these guys, they get it. You know, they put the work in. They do the stuff that is required to, get there, or at least give yourself a chance. And there's no surprise that he worked his tail off and really performed. I mean, he was a very hard worker. And I'm happy that he's getting that opportunity and he's doing a great job with it. A lot of GT guys in the MLB right now. Exactly, Danny. The elite kids, I'm assuming, have to donate something in the future when they are in the NFL. I don't know. Or do you think it's more marketing for them to get families to believe the dream, or is there something more for these 5-star kids? A lot of GT guys in the MLB right now. Tigers have 2 of them. Yeah, I mean, dude, they're getting all over the place. I mean, look, Christian Campbell, Chandler Simpson, Justin Henry Malloy. A lot of these guys I coach is funny. Who's the lefty? Andrew Jenkins in the farm system for you guys. Yep. Golly, what's his name? Left-handed pitcher for Detroit. He'd be so mad if I couldn't remember his name. Brant Herter. As an Orioles fan, I was wondering, I'm wondering, is Adley Rushman has become a bust? Is he still too young? I don't know. I will say, it's usually guys that get the big leagues that fast and they have a really good first year. Don't see the struggles that he did. Now I know he was like dating a Instagram model or something. I don't know. And what effect that had on him or something. I don't know. But he just doesn't seem to have. He hadn't been the same since that went down. That's all I can say. I don't know. Miami has no hitters in the league, only pitchers. But I thought we don't develop pitchers. I don't know, man. CJ Kafis is about to be in the majors. Yeah, I saw he's having a really good start to the year. .711, the greatest first baseman of my lifetime. So what games? What games? Oh, actually, we got to look at. I can't believe I didn't bring this up. I can't believe I haven't brought this up, and Canes hasn't said anything about it. I haven't talked about the Miami games, that the game coming up this or tonight. Miami Notre Dame. Now, again, let's think about this. If Miami can sweep Notre Dame, which is not going to be easy. Notre Dame is now 12-15 in the ACC. They have played very well lately. Does Miami, if they play well in the tournament and go deep, do they somehow find a way to get into hosting contention? Do we think that has something? Do we think there's a chance? He got girl problems, currently hitting 196 with a 619 OPS. No, I mean, I'll give it to you guys straight. I mean, I think, and I've talked to guys that, guys I played with who are in the big leagues still. The issues you're seeing in Major League Baseball with hitters is because everything that's being taught, and this is what you got to do to fix this is why you're struggling. We got to work on this. Everything's mechanical. So these guys are up there thinking mechanics instead of like seeing the pitch and hunting a pitch and like locking in, right? They're thinking about, I got to get my, get in the slot or something. And that's just not how it ever was before. I mean, you thought mechanics in BP, if you're working on a mechanical change, you think that in BP, but you go in the game, you don't. Well, when you have a bunch of hitting coaches across Major League Baseball that don't know anything about how to hit, they just know swings. You have a lot of major league hitters that are thinking mechanics. And again, anyone who's played at that level will tell you, when you're at the plate thinking mechanics, like you're generally not going to have success, or as much success as you would have, because if your focus is not 100% on that pitcher, seeing the pitch, what your approach is, like you're not going to have as much success as you could have. I call him 7-Eleven because when you need a single, double, triple home run, local 1,400 kids' parents sent him to IMG this past fall. When he realized he wasn't that important, he came back home to pretend he's elite. Yeah. When you need a single, double, triple home run, a walk, he'll get it done because 7-Eleven is open 24/7 and they have everything you need. Bino Waters may not be playing for Notre Dame. Okay. And the best defensive first baseman we've had in my life as well. He is a legend forever. He didn't play last weekend and didn't play the midweek. Okay. Guy's the best. Your nickname in college would have been 7-Eleven as well with that batting average, Kyle. Yeah, thank you, Canes. I appreciate that. I did hit 400 in ACC play my junior year. All right, so Miami, Notre Dame. I mean, again, do you guys think Miami has a chance? I mean, if they sweep Notre Dame and let's say they win 2 games in ACC tournament, like how much of an impact do the tournament games have? That's a question. Because like in my mind, let's say Georgia Tech finishes 18-12, and you're thinking, okay, they were 1 win away from being a host, but now they're not. Okay, well, let's say they win 2 games in the ACC tournament, or maybe they make the final, but they don't win it. Shouldn't they then be a host? Right? Let's say they finish 2nd or 3rd in the ACC, and then they make it to the ACC final, but don't win. Shouldn't they be a host in that at that point? Even if we win 2 out of 3, our RPI will drop. Need to sweep in order to host. Yeah, see, that's so dumb, Zach. That's so dumb that they swept Notre Dame, but their RPI went down. RPI got worse. Like that would be brutal. Miami doesn't even have a chance to win a game against Notre Dame. A chance? I'm expecting a sweep. I'll be there with my Lucky Charms milkshake. Is it at the light? Yeah, it is at the light, isn't it? It is at the light. You know what? It's interesting. I mean, or if we are top 8, is it 3 games? Because how many more wins is that 7? I think we need to sweep and win the tournament. I'll be there with my lucky charms. Let's go. Let's look at the ACC. Let's look up the ACC format and just see kind of where Zach or where Miami would line up. I mean, it depends. Like, right? It's almost impossible. All right, ACC baseball tournament format. Hopefully at Stanford. I'd love to travel there. We played Stanford next season. I know that for sure. Have the ACC opponents been announced for next year? I don't think so. All right, where is my Warren Nolan? All right, there's the bracket. Now, where's my Warren Nolan? All right, let's see. Right now, Miami is 8th, so they'd be the 8th seed. So the 8th seed, if they win the whole thing, the 8th seed would play 1, 2, 3. Wait, one game. All right, 1, 2, 3. They'd play 4 games. So Miami would go, if let's say they sweep and then they win AC championship, that's 7 ACC games won in a row. And that would put Miami at, let's see. That would put them at 37 wins. You sent me the up-to-date bracket. Okay, so Miami would be the 8th seed, yeah. So they would have to beat Louisville, or man, that's crazy that Louisville's in the top 25 and Louisville gets a no bye. Like again, some of these rankings are just they make 0 sense. Georgia Tech is one of the top 4 seeds. They're the only top 4 seed that isn't ranked, but Duke and Clemson are both ranked, and they're the 7 and 5 seed. And then Louisville is ranked, and they're the 9 seed. They don't get a bye at all. How is the ACC rankings make 0 sense? So you could win 7 straight. I could see us host. Yeah, I think how is Miami not a host if they win 7 straight games and they're all against ACC opponents? Listen, you're gonna have to beat. It's a pretty tough draw on Miami's side. Like if everything stays the way it is, because if you look at it, Miami would beat the winner of Louisville, Cal, which is probably Louisville. So you have to beat Louisville. Then you play Florida State, and if you beat them, then you beat the winner of probably Duke or North Carolina, who are both ranked, and then you play a championship game. So you're literally playing, Mike. In all likelihood, Miami will have to beat Louisville, who's number 21 in the country, and then both Florida State and UNC, who are top 5 in the country. So if Miami does all of that, I don't even think they need to win the championship. I think they maybe get it host because of that. Kyle, are you going to the Georgia Tech Colorado game in Boulder Labor Day weekend? Probably not. Maybe. I don't know. Probably not, though, I'll say. All right, guys, I have to go. that's going to be it for the stream today. We will do one later tonight. Again, we're going to be tweaking some of the lighting and everything, but thanks for joining in today. We will be back again. We're hosting, baby. Let's go. Canes is ready. We'll be back tonight for some of the late night games and just talking through how the weekend's going for all the people. So, all right, guys.